The United States has revoked the terrorist designation from Syria's ruling Islamic group known as HTS. So what does this controversial move mean? Well, Ahmad Sharawi, research analyst at FDD, joins us now. So my friend, what exactly does this mean?
So, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, or HTS for short, is an Islamist group that was linked to Al-Qaeda and has been listed as a foreign terrorist organization since 2013 or 2012 as Jabhat al-Nusra. And so delisting them means that they are no longer considered a foreign terrorist organization. They can deal with the United States and engage with the United States. They can have assets in the United States, and they can deal with entities, whether financial or business entities that operate and are established here in the U.S.
So I think
for this,
go ahead.
For this move means that we're going to see broader engagement with Syria, with the governing coalition in Syria, and that it is no longer considered a terrorist organization.
So I think for a lot of folks, it's confusing, right? You go HTS, you trace it back to Jabhat al-Nusra, you go back a little bit farther, Al-Qaeda. For a lot of folks, it's almost like, wait, why are we doing this? This seems like not a, for lack of better words, kosher thing that would normally happen. So why is the United States doing this?
So this is part of President Trump's broader engagement with Syria. Back in May, when he met with Syrian President Ahmad Sharawi, he said that he will remove all sanctions in order to promote development in Syria and more stability and economic development. And this is part of his promise. Again, the limitations of HTS as a foreign terrorist organization limited how much the United States and how much U.S. entities can deal with the new Syrian government. So by removing this, he removes all these things that were blocking engagement. And it's part of President Trump's ambition in seeing a more secure, stable Syria that can function on its own and that can stabilize economically and politically.
So, depending on who you talk to, there's very different opinions on this. For some people, they see HTS as kind of allowing the massacre of Alawites, that, Christians that were involved. On the other side of, people you talk to, it's like, well, this opens the door for like Syria to join the Abraham Accords and make peace with Israel. Not to put you on the spot, my friend, but do you see this as a good thing? Do you see this as productive? How would you view it?
So, this move comes. It comes again, as I said, as President Trump promises broader engagement with Syria. But I think one of my concerns is that there's been a lack of conditions that were put on Syria following this broader engagement. That is, we are not seeing any moves by this new Syrian regime to remove foreign fighters linked to foreign terrorist organizations. These groups are designated by the United States and they're non-Syrians. We're also seeing limited action in terms of getting rid of Palestinian factions. And these were all conditions put by the US State Department back in March, but the Syrians haven't done enough. And so my biggest concern is that we are not seeing enough progress from the new Syrian government in terms of achieving these goals, and that these promises and sanctions relief and delisting are coming at a time when the Syrian regime is saying the right things, but they're not doing the right actions.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, not to make you do one more crystal ball prediction here, but folks are saying that this opens the door, which again, it's almost hard to believe that we're talking about this if you would have asked someone a few years ago, but it opens the door for Syria to join in the Abraham Accords. Do you see that happening?
Well, I think for Syria, I think that's still a bit premature to talk about Syria joining the Abraham Accords. Of course, what differentiates the Abraham Accords from other peace deals in the Middle East is that it was done by countries that, first of all, do not share a border with Israel. The United Arab Emirates and Bahrain do not share a border with Israel and have never engaged in direct conflict with Israel. Now, the story is different with Syria, which has engaged in 3 different wars with Israel. There's a big territorial dispute in the Golan Heights. And so I think a move like the Abraham Accords, which means full diplomatic normalization, we're talking about exchange of embassies, diplomatic ties, economic ties. It's still a bit premature to talk about that. What I see is a limited security agreement between Syria and Israel over southern Syria, getting rid of remnants of the Assad regime, that are loyal to Iran's Quds Force and Hezbollah. And we've seen reports that President Shara will be meeting with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in September to discuss that. So we might see a limited deal before we talk about the Abraham Accords or full diplomatic normalization.
Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much, my friend. Shukran.
Thank you.